Okay, in the last session we were talking about how to attract into your life what you want by using the law of attraction through gratitude and through visualization. And we're going to continue talking a little bit about that now. Visualization is so important. And I spoke to you about the importance of imagination because that's how you do this. Imagination is the process that you use to attract to you what you want. And imagination can be a little bit difficult for some people because if you're like me, you probably grew up in a home and an environment where you were taught never to daydream, don't be a dreamer, keep your feet firmly on the ground, look at reality. And I was taught these things. Now, it's ironic that I only became a success in life and achieved a lot of things, including a high income and these kind of things, when I began turning my back on reality. And I will tell you flat out, that is exactly what I do today. I do not have anything to do with reality. I live in a dream world, and I'll be the first one to admit it, and I will tell you that it has made me rich, it has made me happy, it has made me attract to me all of the things, people, experiences, businesses that I want in my life. So anyone that tells you don't live in a dream world is really trying to, they're holding you down by your heels, they're keeping you from taking off. You get somewhere in life by using your imagination, and a human being without an imagination or who doesn't use their imagination will go nowhere. It's just that simple. You've got to see it in your mind before you can achieve it. It's just the way it is. So I make no bones about saying that I live in a dream world, and I do this 365 days a year, 24/7. I live in the world I want to live in, and as I do this, I attract to me more of what it is that I want, and people that think the way I do, and people that are interested in the things I'm in, and the material things that I want, and the businesses that I want. I attract them all to me by dreaming, by using my imagination. You probably have some old ideas, if you're like me. You have some ideas from your childhood or from your family and how you grew up that you're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to be a dreamer. You're supposed to keep your feet firmly on the ground and look at reality. But there is a problem with reality, okay? There's a paradox about reality, and I'm going to explain it to you. If you think that reality is what has been happening up until now, then what you're basically saying is the reality is the past. Do you see what I'm saying? If you think that, well, this is reality because this is what happened yesterday and the day before, well, what you're describing is the past. So you're saying basically, reality is the past, and that's not true. There's no truth in that at all. The other problem with this is if you define reality in that way, you're really limiting yourself because that's a very regressive way of looking at the world. And what I mean by that is, if you think the reality in life is what has happened before, then, for example, you're denying the fact that you affect the world you live in, that you have an impact, that you help to determine what reality is. You affect the world around you. You may not think you do, but of course you do, and deep inside you know you do. You affect people you come in contact with, you affect the business you work for, you affect your family, your spouse, your kids, of course you do. You affect everything around you, everything you come in contact with, everyone you come in contact with. So you are creating reality is what I'm saying, and if you only define reality as what's happened before, you're denying the fact that you're actively involved in creating it. And as you change what you do and what you think and what you feel, you're changing reality. If you get up during the day and you feel bad and you go into town, you go to a supermarket and you're pissed off, so you take it out on the person working at the supermarket checkout, right? And you give this person a hard time and you snarl at them and you give them, and you put out a lot of bad energy to them and just treat them kind of like crap. Are you affecting that person? You might think, no, I'm not affecting it. They see that all the time. It doesn't bother them. Maybe they do see it sometimes, but by you doing it too, it could be just the straw that breaks the camel's back. The person that makes them go, you know what, I have to quit this job. I can't do this anymore. Or it's just contributing to them feeling that the world is full of hostile people. So you're affecting their reality and their view of the world. So that's the fact. You are co-creating the world you live in. If you look at your life, if you look at so-called reality as what's come in the past, you're not looking at reality at all. You're looking at what has been. And of course, like I said, you're just dooming yourself to never have any more than that. But if you want to have more, if you ever want to do anything different in your life, you have to be able to see something different. If you've got a job making $30,000 a year and you want to have a job making $60,000 a year, first you've got to be able to see yourself doing it. Never be afraid of dreaming and use your imagination. The more you use it, the better you will get at it, and the more you will attract the things you want into your life. Now let's just briefly recap some of the things we've talked about in this session and the few before this. First of all, the law of attraction is always working. It doesn't care if you're aware of it or not. It doesn't listen to what you say. It's responding to your feelings. The feeling that you're putting out attracts the parallel back to you. Okay? It always works for everyone at all times, just like gravity. You jump up, you're going to go down. And the law of attraction says you put something out, you're going to get the parallel back to you. So that's the way it works. Secondly, never, ever, ever focus on anything you don't want. Because whether you want it or not, if you're focusing on it and you're feeling it with emotion, you're attracting it into your experience. You will find this to be true all your life. And the more you start being aware of this and looking at it, you'll see it around you everywhere. So sometimes this is interpreted in a funny way. People will say, well, I want a lot of money. Does that mean I shouldn't care about poor people or ever look at them or ever look at poverty? And that's a bit of a tricky question, but the truth is, it doesn't mean you shouldn't care about anyone. You should love everybody is what I think, but it does mean that if you want a lot of money in your life, don't look at images of poverty. Don't think about poverty. I mean, I'm not saying be mean or stingy if you can help with charities and things, and the more money you create in your life, the more you can help charities and other things. You can help people. But don't look at it. That's what I'm saying, and that may sound kind of cold-hearted. And I think when someone first explained that to me, I thought, well, that's a really sort of crappy way of looking at the world. And they said, no, it's not. And here's why. Because you can't help someone out of a ditch by getting down in the ditch with them. Okay? Someone falls in a hole, you pull them out from up top. You don't get down in there with them. So if someone else is poor, that's not a good thing. But it's not going to help that person for me to go and live in the ghetto. It's not going to help them one bit. And matter of fact, it's going to put images of poverty and lack and poorness in my mind and probably keep me from having the thriving businesses that I have. So therefore, before there was one poor person, then there would be two. Okay? So it doesn't help them. What helps that person more is if I keep my attention squarely on success, wealth, and abundance, and I only look on those things, and I attract it to me. And then I have a business which gives employment to people and myself and helps my family and me. It allows me to give money to charities and other organizations that I care about, to pay more taxes for better social programs. It enables me to help the world more by not looking at that. You should never look at images of poverty or talk about poverty or read about poverty. You shouldn't do it because you will simply attract it into your life. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's something you want or something you don't want. If you're focused on it, what you study is what you get. You're attracting it back to you. So I think you've got the idea, and in the visualization sessions, there will be a chance for you to work with your imagination to practice getting in that feeling place of already having these things that you want in your life. But in the meantime, the thing that I suggest above all else is to make a gratitude list every day and to begin using that imagination. Live in a bit of a dream world. Be a dreamer and be unashamedly a dreamer. The more you do that, the more successful you will be at attracting the life you want. That's the way it works.